Okay, guys. So now today we are going to take up and revise lesson number 6, which is business correspondence of our paper 1 business communication. Okay, CSEET business communication. Subject lesson number 6 business correspondence. So we have spoken a lot about business communication in my previous class. So what and how we will communicate, okay, those things related to communication of business are known as business correspondence. So let's see, we are going to quickly revise this and see the most important topics of this chapter. Okay, just for us to first begin and understand. Okay, let's see this. Whenever we speak, okay, or whenever we talking, or we are talking to a friend, okay, we smile, okay, there is, and the listener can see your smile. Okay, when you talk, there is a typical tone, when you're talking to your friends or when you are angry, okay, regardless of whatever is your choice, but the emotions in which you talk to can be understood while you are conveying that message. Okay, you can also watch your listener and change your approach if you see any favorable reactions. So a person reading a letter cannot see your smile or hear your voice or observe your gestures from sending you an email. You will not be able to understand what are my gestures. The message is complete when it leaves your hands. You can't change your approach if the reader reacts unfavorably. Thus, there is a need to draft the business letter very carefully. So, if I am drafting letters to my clients and it is related to my business, wherein my client is not going to able to understand, whether I'm smiling or I'm annoyed or it is a notice or what it is. So obviously the tone in which I will be writing the business letter is going to be the most important part in my correspondence. Okay. So what is a business letter? Business letter. A business letter is nothing but it is usually a letter from one business entity to another, or it can be between such organizations and their customers and clients, okay, or any other related parties. The overall style of the letter depends for what purpose and the relationship between the parties it is. Okay, why are you writing the letter? The reason behind the letter, that will only be able to give you the format of that letter. Okay, the reason for what you're writing the letter. Business letter is sometimes useful because it produces a permanent written record and may be taken more seriously by a recipient than any other forms of communication, obviously. Okay, when we write a letter, it is a evidence. Say for example, you take a notice, legal notices which come from advocates, etc. It is a proof that there was a notice sent across to you. Okay, so anything which is in the form of letter, it is there as a written record. Now, the essentials of a good business letter, what is important? Okay, so if I'm talking about business letters, so the first topic over here in this chapter we are going to do is business letter. Okay, business letter. So there are a lot of changes, advancements of technology, but the importance of our business letter has not changed over the years. Okay, first it was in the form of writing and then sending it through a courier. Now everything is over the net. Then also business letter is very, very important. Okay, rather we witness the most of the softwares are available for helping and guiding for producing effective business letters. You put a search in Google, they will give you so many formats of writing good business letter. Now they chat, that chat GPT, you ask them to write a business letter to a client or to a customer, they will give you a entire, you know properly paraphrase, this has to be written in the letter. Okay, so for writing a business letter, if I'm talking about business letter, most important thing on a business letter is it has to go on the letterhead of the business. Okay, so letterhead of the business, very important. How will my client come to know that this is coming from my end? So my letterhead will consist my company logo. It will have my tagline. It will have the name and address of my registered office or any other corporate office. It will have my contact number. It will also have the email address of the company. Okay, so I will also show you all one of my, if possible, I'll show you all one letter as well, my own letterhead of my own organization. Okay, so letterhead is very important because it will contain all these important details in the letterhead, which will enable my, you know the opposite party, my related party, to know that it is coming from me. Okay, now what does a letterhead generally, it generally carries all that thing. And in the letter, what all is important, we start with the reference number. Okay, so first we started the letterhead. We want to write a business letter, so we took our letterhead. In our letterhead, all our details are there. Now what am I going to write in the letter? I'll start with the reference number. Why reference number? Because these big organization, they have a continuous relationship. Okay, it's an ongoing business, so they have to keep on writing letters, orders, notices, etc. for payment. So they always write a reference number. They give that particular number to that particular client, so that they know that this is letter number 114 of the year 23. Okay, so it is very easy to retrieve it at a later stage. Okay, it may contain the initials of the letter writer, the department from where the letter actually originates. There is a distinctive number allotted also to it. Okay, so reference number is very important. Almost all the organizations, they have that reference number written. Then comes the date. We have all done, no, in the school. From, date, to whom, subject. Similarly, same thing over here. Okay, then the date. Okay, the date must always be written full without the abbreviation in the name of the month. For example, instead of writing like today is what, 20th of June 2023, in a business letter, to be formal, you should always write it in full. It is like 20th of July 2023. Okay, it can be written just below the reference number or to the extreme right, because depending on the format of the business letter. Then there are special markings. Next, what are special markings? Just below the date, okay, they can show it as a special marking that this is a confidential letter, or it is come through a registered post or courier or speed post, etc. It depends, it may or may not be there. Then we need to have the recipient's address, which is known as inside address. Recipient's address, just below the special marking. After that, we have the attention line. Okay, for example, attention Mr. So and so, Mr. Harish Arora, okay, Mr. Yash Chopra. Okay, so you can have these, attention line written. Now, when you are writing for, like, we write attention for the attention of so and so, Mr. Harish Arora is the example. Okay, now salutation. Now the choice of salutation depends, okay, upon the extent of how formal your letter is going to be. So say you may write sir, you can even write dear sir or dear madam, or you can write dear Mr. So and so, dear Miss Sneha, or dear Mr. Rohit, etc. Okay, so dear sir and madam is something which is standard salutation. It is used across almost all the business letters. Okay, but say for example, I am writing a letter to the principal of my school, in which my son goes. So then there the salutation changes. Respected madam, respected principal ma'am. Okay, that depends upon how formal and to whom you are addressing to. But dear sir, madam is generally used across almost all the business letters. And then the surname of the addressee is preferred. Dear Mr. Chopra. Okay. If you are writing in case of Mr. See here, the use of respected sir is generally avoided, as the word respected not being an adjective is grammatically unacceptable. So all the while that we learn, respected madam, respected sir, okay, so that should be avoided. They are saying we can directly write madam or sir, or the most preferred use is dear sir, dear madam. And if you are addressing with either Mr. or Miss, then they generally use the last name, the surname. Then comes the subject heading, the subject for which you are writing the letter. Very, very simple. We all know what is a subject. Okay, so subject here they have given erection work of Bikaner project. Okay, erection work of Bikaner project. What have they written? See, subject headings may be written in the initial capitals with the rest in the lowercase and underscored, or in capitals as shown. So you can either write it in this manner or in this manner, in the capital form also, or you can write it in a normal sentence case form. Okay. Now, just a minute. Okay. Now comes the main body, for the letter's main body. Okay, so the main letter, the body is divided into three parts. Okay, all this they ask in MCQ, so you all have to mark it. It is important. So first there will be a brief introduction about something. Then it will be followed with the main body, the main paragraph, and then the last will be certain conclusions or expressions as the letter is flowing. So there will be three things: introduction, the main body, there are three paragraphs, and the last one is the conclusion, polite rounding off of the letter. Okay, it may even mention if the feedback is required. And some of the expressions that we give to close our letter is: we thank you in anticipation, we look forward to a favorable response, we will be glad to furnish additional information, etc., etc. So you can read this. Okay. And then we have a complimentary close. Now this complimentary close has to match to your salutation. So in case you have started with sir, you will have to close it with yours truly. If you're writing dear sir, you close it with yours faithfully. This is grammatically correct. And if you're writing dear Mr. or Miss so and so, then you write it yours sincerely. Important. Okay. So now, so this is all what is written. I'm salute the last I have finished with the complimentary close. Then I will write signatory. Okay. So my name, say Fatema Kagalwala. Okay. CSN advocate. Right. So this is how the entire letter is, the flow of the letter one after the other. Then you can even mention if you are saying that there is certain enclosure. So I might write about the enclosure, that a list of the copies, okay, being circulated, one in the registrar department, one in the ROC department, one to the MCA. So enclosures and copies can be written, that there are certain enclosures. Say enclosed, I have enclosed here by the schedule of the property. If I am writing a letter relating to property, a schedule of the product, okay, image of the product, all that can become the enclosures. And then you can have the annexures if we wish to annex some other documents to the letter at the end. Okay, so this is how the business letter is. Okay, the entire flow starting from your letterhead, last is your annexures. Okay. Now coming to types of business letters. The business letters, only two types. Like how we have types in letters, only two types we have. One is formal, one is informal. Similarly, even in business letters, we have one formal business letter and one informal business letter. Formal business letters, they are typically a standard business letter. They are meant for legal work, official correspondence, okay, business deals, orders, certain claims, disputes, agreements, okay, etc. Informal business letter, okay, they are used for casual correspondence. They are also in the form of letter, and their tone is also very casual. Okay, these letters may be memorandums, they are appraisal letters, okay, appraisal interviews, then thank you or thanking you letters, reference letters, customer complaint letters, certain emails, and other less important or regular letters which can be written in an informal tone, okay, or casual tone in that case, I will say. Now, layout of the letter is two types. We are still on the business letters only. So, layout. Two types of layout. One is blocked and one is semi-blocked. Okay, now what is a blocked? I'll show you. See, this is a example of a blocked letter. Blocked letter where this is the letterhead of the company Sundar Chemicals Limited. They are giving their registered office details, phone number, email ID. Everything is on the left hand side. Okay, this is your reference number, this is the date, okay, this is the recipient's address, inside address which is known as, okay, then there is this reference order number, okay, this can also be there. Then you start with the salutation, then this is the main body, introductory, main part, and then you are kind of closing it, complimentary close, and then your signature. So everything is on the left hand side. But when I talk about semi-blocked format, I have taken my letterhead, okay, I am writing the date on the right hand side, rest everything is on left hand side, only my date comes on the right hand side, my reference number, my recipient inside address, okay. Now the subject line, this is actually the subject line, is in the center, semi-block, no? So the subject line is in the center, date is on the right hand side, and since I've written the date on the right hand side, I will close also on the right hand side, which is yours faithfully and the signatory. Okay, so it is the choice of the organization how they want to, write the letter. Okay, they want to have it in a block format or a semi-block format. It is totally up to them. All right. Now coming to the characteristics of a good business letter. The business letter, if it is good, if it has completeness, clarity about the topic, simple for the recipient to understand, giving accuracy in information, brevity, sincerity, courtesy for the recipient, and the style, which is impressive. Okay, so all these you all can read. They are not at all difficult. Okay, you'll just need to know the important characteristics of the business letter. So the first topic of a business correspondence is done, that is business letter. Okay, so we did everything about the business letter, what all is contained in the business letter, what are the types, formal, informal, what are block format, semi block format, and the essentials of a good business letter. So 4 subtopics in business letter are done. You all have any doubts so far? No? So I'll move to the next topic, that is business messages. All right. So now business messages. What are they? Normal messages. So say messages from the chairman of the company to the shareholder, or message given to the employees, or any other related to sales, purchase, product and service, something about confirmation, cancellation of orders, invoices, companies announcements, their notifications, certain related employee related news about promotions, awards, bonus, etc. Okay, all these messages are very crucial for the business, be it in form of advertisement, okay, in print or in electronic mode. Nowadays everything is since on electronic mode, or in form of any other internal or external way of communication. So good business messages are essential to keep the business relationship in a very good health. okay, because they are obviously very prompt, easy, quickly they can be done, so you can always have a good business message. There are many types of business messages that a business can write to another business on day to day basis, so if in case there are certain messages which keep coming from your Vodafone and Reliance Jio, some promotional messages, etc. All right. If there is a team leader, he will keep on putting some you know uh, a kind of motivational messages on the group regarding the work done, or appraisals, etc., which can be there. Okay, so good business messages, okay, the self-centered approach, preparing communication to see each situation from own point of view, may lead the writer oriented approach, resulting the messages prepared in the view of point approach, wherein the writer places emphasis on himself and his interest rather than on the interest of the readers and the stakeholders. Okay. So what happens is, generally when you keep an approach of your own self, that will never create a positive response on the reader. But if you will keep the reader and the self in the center point, and you will write from the reader's point of view, focusing on what the reader wants you to do, then obviously you will have a positive reply of that business message. So generally whenever there is a business message, okay, the you attitude, okay, I instead of me attitude, it has to be you attitude. Okay, so what is that? The you attitude is the writing style, important. Okay, it is the writing style that emphasizes readers rather than the writer. It is important. Okay. To write a business letter, the writer should not focus or put ourselves in place of the receivers. Okay. However, the desires, problems, circumstances, emotions, etc., to be taken into consideration. So always write the letter from you viewpoint instead of I or we viewpoint. Okay. So now let's see, I or we attitude first. Which one will sound correct to you or much better to you? You only see. So if I'm writing a message in I attitude format, we are sure that our new discount policy will be attractive to you. We are sure. I attitude. We attitude. But if I am keeping my reader as my focus, okay, so then my tone will change. You will surely appreciate the new discount policy. You're already putting a positive impact on the reader of the message. Again, see I or we attitude. I'm happy to hear that you have selected our company. Instead, I will say thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve you. You attitude. I will give you 10% discount on credit card purchase. You can get 10% discount on the credit card purchase. Okay, so automatically the reader will get into that positive thinking. They will get that positive feeling. So it can create a friendly atmosphere, motivation. It will establish a trust. Okay, so important for a business message is the you attitude. So you attitude is not only important, but it is essential for a effective letter writing also and business messages also, both. Okay. Now there are certain types of messages. Let's see the types. So first type is positive. Positive messages where the audience is expected to react in a very neutral manner. Okay, neutral to positive manner. There is nothing like where the reaction can go wrong. So it is basically consist of a routine news or good news. Okay, so these messages are like in form of congratulations, confirmations of the order, directions, simple credit requests, credit approvals. Okay, there is nothing where the you know the the attitude of the reader would go wrong. Okay, after reading the message, then there are certain messages which can be treated as negative messages, where you definitely know that your audience is going to react in a negative manner. So it will obviously consist of a bad news. Okay. Here the sender's goal is to convey that bad news in a manner which will preserve the business relationship also. Okay, so while the sender must deliver the bad news, the sender wants to avoid an employee quitting or a customer finding another vendor. Okay, these messages are items of refusal. Okay, so say the receiver may be displeased. Okay, the cost for repair is to be borne by the receiver, not the company. Some these type of messages. Okay, then the receiver needs a little persuasion. New logon procedure takes longer, but it is more secured. Okay, so these are known as negative messages. Then you have persuasive. This is an overlapping category. Okay, persuasive. Here the audience is expected to be in need of encouragement. Okay, for whatever the sender is desiring to do. The sender wants to encourage the audience. Okay, so in some cases the receiver is more like a positive audience, so they are always encouraged. Okay, so for example, when you are asking for a recommendation letter, or when you are inviting someone to attend after hours work function, so it is, they are already in a positive mindset, and they have a positive attitude towards it. Certain receivers, okay, is more like a negative audience. For example, you are requesting additional payment, okay, as a result of a shared error, or when you're providing an extension to an impending due date. So they are negative also, but they are also persuasive. They are encouraging your audience. Okay. Now the receiver may be reluctant, so you say, please speak to the new employee group. Receiver is being asked for a favor. Please write a recommendation letter. Okay, so these are the examples of persuasive messages. So there are three types of messages. Okay, one is positive, one is negative, and one is persuasive. Okay, so business messages, again an important topic after business letter. Remember that business messages need to have a you attitude rather than an I or we attitude. Okay, now the next is business reports. Okay, so now this report word, what is a report? Report is derived from the Latin word reporter, which means to carry back. Okay, re is equal to back plus portray is equal to carry. So carry back. So carry back what? Whatever was the past event. You are making a report of that. Okay, so once you are done with your exams, you get the report card to know what of you, how you have fared in the exam, how much marks did you get. Simple, like that you have a business report. Today there was a board meeting held. I have to prepare a report. Okay, stating what all was there, minutes, what was discussed in the board. I have to prepare a report about the entire year. Okay, annual statement, annual report. What was the profit? How much is the loss? What are the assets, etc. Okay, so the report is a message to the management. Okay, it travels from an employee to the supervisor, and then from the supervisor to an executive, and then from the executive it finally reaches to the management. So basically, what is a business report? Conveys information which will assist in decision making. So who will get assistance? Management level people. They will obviously need their internal business reports to know and make future decision policies making. Okay, planning. So a report means to present this information. Okay. Now, what all? So it is basically, report is always a historical information. Okay, it will help you to take actions to solve your future problems. Okay, so the report can be defined as an orderly and objective presentation. Important, the definition is, of information that helps in decision making and problem solving. Okay, so the report has to be well ordered, so the reader can easily find some information. It must be objective because the reader will use this report for the decision making that will affect the entire organization. It must present information, facts, and data as required. Okay. It must aid in problem solving and in decision making. Okay. There is a practical need to know dimension about the business reports that differentiates them from academic or scientific reports. So whatever the management needs, okay, they are asking me to bring a report of past 5 years of the sales we did. So obviously it is a need to know related report, how much they need to know, because they want to make an assessment or a policy for future sales, for future turnover. Okay, so it is an evaluation or assessment or a review of a particular event or issue, period, or set of circumstances which is related to the business. So there are business report categories. There are innumerable business reports, but there are some form of reports. Okay, they have given over here compliance report, which is related to company secretary. Okay, which we have to provide to the directors. Compliance report. Okay, and we have to see whether everything, all the laws are being complied in a given organization, because then we have to submit that to the MCA, to ROC, to SEBI if it is listed. Corporate governance report, again CS work. Sustainability report, certain recommendation reports, investigation, feasibility, research projects reports, periodic reports, quarterly statements, half yearly statements, yearly statements, certain situational related report. Okay, so business reports, there are four things which are important. Okay, so you have the body of the report, you have the key findings and recommendations, conclusions, executive summary. So there are four pillars of a business report, effective business report. So in order to have an effective business report, you have to keep the objective of the report in mind, the format, why the report, for what use, what will be your data, your input data, what are the collection of the data and the facts, analysis of your facts, and the executive summary. Okay, so to write an effective business report, it is necessary to understand and identify the following. Executive summary. Okay, it is like an essay, brief essay, just introducing what what all you all have investigated and what were the methods which were used, etc. Okay, it will briefly state the purpose of the report. It will briefly describe the method which you have used to investigate the issue, and it will list certain key points and findings in the report. Then comes the body. It will give the detailed evaluation of the process, entire method. Okay, then identify particular issues in that. Sometimes if you have seen your any blood report or something, okay, detailed report. Sometimes you have a summary report. It might also allude to give brief preview of your findings. Okay, you can even put in diagrams, etc. Then third, you will give your key findings, you will give your recommendations. Okay, uh, which you will identify, so that it is very easy for discussion by the management. And your conclusion will neatly sum up your findings, and in doing so, we'll ensure that they relate back to the original question for why the report was made. So starting from the executive summary, we go to the body, key finding and recommendations, and last we conclude. Okay, so this was all about the business report. So three important things: business letter, business messages, and business report. So this you can treat it as half part A of your business correspondence. Now I am coming to the part B of this chapter, which is inter and intra departmental communication. But before I start that, is there anything you all need to ask or any doubt you all have?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to begin now with inter and intra departmental communication. Okay. Now what is that? Inter-department communication means from one department to another department. I'm talking about my organization only now. Think about a given organization, say Reliance. Okay, Reliance has different various departments. Okay, so from one department to another, and in the same department also there can be communication among so many people who are working in that same department: legal department, accounts department, purchase, sales, etc. Okay, so inter and intra departmental communication has largely been a very formal affair. It is very, very formal in nature. The chief executives assumed that they were expected to be direct, brief, functional, wasting little time on niceties. Employees were usually taken for granted. Okay, so now they are standardized. There are a lot of things which are there, which has come up in interdepartmental and intra-departmental communication. How things are communicated, there is a standard which is being given. So over the years, there has been a greater appreciation of the important role of the staff which actually help the organization achieve the goals. Okay, their stake in the organization has also gone up with schemes like we have employee stock option plan, which became very popular. They now take greater interest in framing the policies because they enjoy that respect and they enjoy that confidence. So there are certain interdepartmental communication and will be effective and supported by good infrastructure facilities. Generally, all this is there only. Okay, all these big organizations, they already have all this ready placed. Okay, it is formatted. Quickly, you have to just enter certain details and it is done. So, see about a memorandum. First, most important one, okay, in this inter and intra departmental communication is memorandum. Important, very important. Memorandum, generally mostly known as memos, okay, has been misunderstood as a part of disciplinary proceedings. No, okay. Now, this particular memorandum is very useful for internal communication, internal within the organization. Okay, within the organization. Okay, a memorandum, okay, plays convenient and a flexible role, very easy. While much of inter and intra office communication is being done over the phone, instead of doing it over the phone, memorandums are preferred when one needs to convey information in writing. Okay, so now see, let's see this. Okay, what is a memorandum? See this. A few specimen for the memos are given. First specimen. There is the name of the organization and it is located in the bank in Bangalore. Date is given, reference number is given, and it is written office memorandum. Okay, so what is written now? Let's see in that. With reference to his request for a grant of special casual leave, Shri P. Sachdeva is informed that this special leave is being granted to him for 4 days, starting from 23rd April to 26th of April, for enabling him to participate in the district level athletic meet. Signed by an administration manager, or it can be an HR manager, and it is given to Mr. Sachdeva, who is there in secretarial department. Okay, and it is done through the company secretary. Simple memorandum. Okay, it is for internal communication of the organization. So it is like an information given. So it is basically information given up to one employee, and everyone else also knows now that okay, Mr. Sachdeva is going to go for a special casual leave. From this date to this date, he will not be available. Correct? There is another specimen of Suman Engineering, Pune. It is again written memorandum, date and reference number is always there. Okay. Now, Shri Mukesh is hereby informed that the office has no objection in his pursuing part-time MA degree course in the evenings after office hours. However, grant of leave for study examination is subject to the exigency or emergencies of the office work signed by the personnel or HR manager as the case may be, and it is given to the assistant sales department manager through manager sales. Simple. So you all can read this type of memorandums. They are importantly used within the organization from one department to another department as well. Office circulars, best example of circulars. When institute sends circulars regarding exam dates. Right now there was a postpone of the July attempt exam circulars. Okay, circulars regarding your enrollment to CSEET, circulars regarding which are the upcoming exams, change in the portion, change in the syllabus, circulars. Best example. Okay, it is there. It is meant only for the students of the institute. Okay, so now see office circular. If there is an information to be disseminated to a large number of employees, okay, at the same time, same information is to be given. I want to announce something that there is an event coming up in our office. Okay, there is some celebration to be done in office. I will put a circular. Okay, I want to announce that these days the office hours will change, etc. So yes, it is a circular. So if it is to be given to large number of employees within the organization, since it is an internal communication, therefore it is a business like formal and devoid of salutation. There is no salutation or anything because it's not to a particular employee or particular person. Okay, so this particular circular is for inviting certain suggestions from the employees. So they have written circular number, date, etc. They are writing the manual of instruction, which was last revised in June, is proposed to be updated. So we are asking for constructive suggestions which are welcome from employees. So suggestions can be sent by you. Last date for suggestions will be 30th of April 2019. Signed by the manager. Okay. There is another specimen insisting punctuality. Right now only the where I go, no, for I am a consultant to a legal firm. So over there they have put one circular in which they have stated that employees are requested to strictly adhere to the office timing and do their punch in and punch out, and 10 minutes delay or 15 minutes delay will be allowed. So there is one big circular which they have put for all the employees to read. Okay, so this is again the same thing. Employees are requested to strictly adhere to the office timings. Tendencies to move around unnecessarily in the canteen, etc., should be avoided seriously. So these type of office circulars can be there. Okay, so there are many examples which they keep giving. Then comes the order. Okay, now order and memorandum are almost the same. Okay, they have the same format and it is actually to a particular person in a particular department, but the tone changes. Memorandum has more of a casual tone, but order is having a tone of an order itself. Okay, it's like in form of order. You are being told to do something. Okay, so office orders have a similar format that of the memorandum. See, but the purpose is different. Okay, so let's see. Let us read and see office order. They have written reference number also, date, like how it was there in the memorandum. Mr. J.K. Saxena, manager of credits, Friends Colony branch, is transferred to the regional office on the same rank and pay. He shall now hand over his charge to chief manager and report to the regional office by 10th of March. More in form of an order, no, something told to be done. So signed by the personnel officer, given to the chief manager, so and so credits. Okay, so there are other specimens also they have given here. You can read that. And now office notes. Office notes strictly, okay, strictly is used if the communication is from one department to another department. Strictly. Okay, so this cannot be interdepartmental communication. This cannot be intra-departmental communication. Sorry, intra means within. No, this cannot be intra. Cannot be used for intra. Office notes is strictly used when there is interdepartment, from one department to another department. We will read the specimen and see. Okay. Okay, Latex Balls Limited. Okay, they have the address, date, reference number. It is written, see, from legal department, it is going to the administration department. Subject, they want an additional stenographer. Okay, so the legal department is writing that the EGM of the company is to be held on so and so date to transact their urgent business. Therefore, two very urgent board meetings are to be held in quick succession for discussing a detailed agenda, to prepare the relevant papers and other documents, etc., to be given. Okay, priority, you have to give priority to this work, and there will be a lot of workload, so they need one additional stenographer, will be should be please posted to this department for a period of 1 month, signed by the manager. Okay, so it is strictly from one department to another. So we have memorandum, then we have circulars, we have uh, office orders, and this one is your office notes. Okay, four types of inter and intra departmental communication. Now the last part number C, management information system. Quickly we will do this. Okay, management information system, this is the last part of your chapter. So what is management information system? It, the name itself suggests, it is so self-explanatory. Information required by the management. Okay, so obviously the top level management, okay, they are the leaders. Executives in organization provide leadership direction for planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, these and etc. Everything is the organizing. Okay, each of the business activities involves decision making process. Now how I will make decisions? I will need certain information. Okay, if I'm on that executive high level, I will need information. So information has to be provided, okay, by the specialist or by data processing department, etc. Okay, so the major postulates of management information system are: importance. Information form of MIS is always periodic in nature. It can exception and based on demands can also be there. Okay, because there is a particular event and they need an information. Information format is also pre-specified and they are fixed. Information is provided by extraction and manipulation of operational data. Okay, you have to extract the data, the raw data has to be converted in form of facts and figures and then turned into form of reports and sent to the management. It provides information about the performance of the organization. It supports the intelligence and implementation stages of the decision making, and it supports the structured decision for operational and tactical long term planning and control. Okay, tactical. So why purpose for MIS? Okay, a well defined MIS, if you have a proper MIS, it is like a infrastructure in place in an organization, it will provide information to all the levels of the management. Okay, for following purpose: first, to make the reports, to report the organizations, to report to tax authorities, shareholders, regulating authorities. It will help you prepare future plans, short term, long term, to exercise day to day control over your operations and functional areas, to allocate different types of resources to different functional areas. Okay, to allow management by exception to develop database for the business partners, to devise procedures to deal with them, to develop training tools for the new recruiters in at all the organizational levels. So three elements: management, information, and it has to have a system infrastructure. There are a lot of softwares now which are there which keep all this information tally. Is the type of a software, the moment you will click on last month's sales report, it will give you entire report in front of you. So there is management, there is information, and then there is system. So what is management? Management is defined by Mary Follett. It is the art of getting things done through the people. It refers to a set of functions and processes which are designed and initiate to coordinate the group efforts, and they are organized in such a manner that it will obviously direct you towards achieving your organizational goals. Okay, so in short, you can say management may be thought as a sum of total of these activities which relate to the laying down of certain plans, policies, and purpose, securing men, money, material and machinery which will be required for goal achievement. Put all this into operation, check their performance, provide material, rewards, mental satisfaction, etc. Okay, so this is management. Information, it is the source for increment in knowledge. Okay, they require data, facts, figures, etc. So say let us analyze a situation. If a manager is asking a question, what are the sales of the packaged goods by the marketing department and the projection for the next quarter? Okay, so here we have to first find out, you have to discuss the entire, you have to find out from the data. Okay, so in MIS, it is obtained by processing data into a form of meaningful. It has to become meaningful for the users. So they have discussed a situation. If somebody throws the word 11 during the discussion, it means nothing to the participant. But the same 11, it is a data item. It is replaced with the familiar context word for the recipient, and 11 is for that sale of the packaged goods. So then yes, it becomes a important fact. Then you have system, means your infrastructure. Okay, a physical system, it is a set of components that operate together to achieve the common objective. Okay, so it is in the form of input output. An effective system provides these output that best meet the objectives of the system. So it can be thought of as a system, like there is a hardware, software, manpower, procedure, etc. working on it. So that can be a system. So structure of management information system, generally management levels are top level, middle level and bottom level. Okay, so the top level managers, they do strategic planning, which are known as, long term planning, lifetime planning, etc. Long term planning, important decisions, long term. Tactical will be medium, not long term, not short term, but something which is uh, required to be done for a medium size of the period. And operational is day to day related information they will need. So obviously top level management, depending upon the level of management, the need of information is also different. So top management is defined as a set of management positions which are concerned with the overall task of the entire organization. They are maintaining the entire integration of all the activities happening in the organization: chairman, board of directors, executive officers, etc. Okay, so it is their responsibility to determine the goals, the objectives, how to achieve them. So the information which they will need will be more of external in nature, external environment related. What is happening in the economy, what is the market today, what is the political social scenario, what are the other business organizations doing, and on the functioning of the internal organizational subsystems. Okay, so apart from historical information, top management also requires the ongoing current information which they can integrate with the future. Okay, so they want production, sales, cash, profit, etc. Okay, from the middle management. The distinguish between strategic planning information requirement and tactical information requirement is not always clear. Why? Because both systems use the common information. Middle level, tactical. Okay, so tactical level is somewhere it is not long term also, it is not short term planning also. So middle level management, it is a group of management positions which tend to overlap the top and supervisory management levels in the hierarchy. Okay, so they are the heads of all the departments, chief technical staffs, okay, etc. Okay, at the manager level, so manager of sales, manager of purchasing, finance manager, okay, manager of personnel, HR manager, etc. Okay, so the nature of information which middle level management require is less diverse and less complex. Okay, so they are fed with information from both, from top management and supervisory management. Okay, much of the information used by middle level is internal in nature. For top level, it is more external in nature. Okay, and middle level don't need more of futuristic information. Okay, because their strategic, their decisions are not strategic. Okay, are not very long run in nature. So sales manager will need what kind of information? They will need corporate sales goals, targets, strategies, policies related information. and supervisory level, which is known as the bottom level, or you can even say operational level. Okay, they are the last in the hierarchy. Okay, so they will consist of office managers, superintendents, foreman, supervisors, etc. Okay, so basically they will need more of internal information on operational day-to-day aspects and activities of the organization, so that they can maintain them and they can carry on them in a eased manner, in a sufficient manner, and achieve the goals. Okay, so three levels: strategic, tactical, and operational level you have to remember. And what type of information will they need the most? Characteristics of MIS: comprehensiveness. Okay, it has to be comprehensive in nature. Okay, the data which is given, the information has been given, it should be helpful. Okay, the data which is being input and the information which comes out from it, it has to cater to the needs, okay, and practical at all the levels. Coordinated, coordinated information, properly ensured that the information is uh, centrally coordinated, so that there is a past, future, mid, whatever information which is there, it is in a proper hierarchy. Subsystems, okay, quasi separate systems, components. Okay, each systems, these subsystems are composed of sub. MIS is generally having subsystems. Okay, so full MIS, there are subsystems in the MIS. So that subsystems provide particular related information, sales related, purchase related, etc. There has to be proper integration. Okay, MIS is rationally integrated, so it becomes more meaningful. Okay, so if it is integrated and then interrelated, if there is sales, there is increase in cash. Interrelated also, integrated also. Transforming of the data, raw data, into information. This is the most important characteristics IMIs should have. Enhance the productivity of an organization. This all you all can read it. Okay, it is not that difficult, and it is not that something you all will miss out from here. Conforms to the manager's styles and characteristics, the way management would like to have the information. Okay, relevant information also. Used established quality criteria and the feedback. Then it should be flexible in nature, modular. Okay, selective sharing of the data should also be there. Now you share certain type of data to the lower level, which is external in nature, they have nothing to do with that. So they should, the system should be in the form where there can be selection done. Okay, as per the need, the data can be removed and used, and it is obviously computerized. Everything is now computerized. Okay, so if you need to put an MIS infrastructure in place, you need a hardware, you need a software, you obviously need a database. Okay, you need procedures, and you need operations personnel who will be doing that operations computer system. And limitations of MIS. Now it also, there can be organization, not all organizations have MIS. Okay, now the quality of output of MIS is basically governed by the quality of input you put in the process. So your output also will be that only. If your inputs are good, your outputs will be good. MIS is not a substitute for effective management. However, good information MIS is given, but the management is not able to make the planning, entire purpose is defeated. Okay, sometimes MIS may not have flexibility or quickly updating itself or changing itself. Okay, it becomes redundant over the time. MIS cannot sometimes provide tailor-made information for a given purpose. Okay, there are many quantitative factors which are not considered by MIS, like morals, attitudes of the employees, feelings, emotions. MIS is less useful for making non-program decision making. Okay, effectiveness of an MIS is reduced with the culture to hold the information and not share with others. There are certain organizations who really don't like sharing of information. Okay, and frequent changes in the top management is there. Then obviously in operational team and top management team is keeping on changing. However good your MIS is, it is going to fail. All right, so this was it with our lesson number 6, which is a very big lesson, business correspondence. and we have completed this in an hour. Okay, so now see this. I have made certain 50 MCQs from this particular chapter. Very interesting MCQs. Each and every MCQ you will know. Okay, so there cannot be any doubt, and if there is any doubt, we are going to solve it again in the next class. Okay, so thank you everyone. Bye bye.